Hey guys, my name is Nori and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, comment down how many books you managed to read in April. So today we're going to be talking about our April wrap-ups, and this month I read a total of 11 books. With the rating stars, I read 4 3-star books, 1 4-star books, which was really close to like 4.5, and 6 5-star books. Overall, a successful reading month. I will post a little pie chart right there, and I read 3 manga, 1 contemporary, 1 sci-fi, 1 romance, and 5 fantasy, but they're more like 5 YA fantasy. And yeah, here's our April wrap-up. Alright, so the first book that we're going to be talking about, I don't have a physical copy, so I will post a picture here. And it is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. This is the only sci-fi book that I read, and it was really short. I believe it was like within 90 pages. And this talks about a girl. Her name is Binti, and she lives on Earth with her tribe, and she gets accepted into one of the best institutes of the galaxy. But the thing about that is that her tribe, they can never leave. They pride themselves on just staying together. So she just makes she takes the risk of just leaving everything she's known to follow her passion for studying, and I believe it's mathematics and all that stuff. But once she goes on the ship, everything goes wrong. That's all I want to say about this book, because again, this book is only like 90 pages. So if I were to tell you exactly what happens, then there's like no point in reading it. And it was a good read overall. I just wish it was longer, because I felt like it was just so fast of everything that was going on. And yeah, it was a little bit too much. I had to go back and reread certain things just to make sure that I didn't either like that I didn't skip anything, or I didn't read it too fast, because there was just like scene after scene after scene. I was like, whoa, hold on, what is going on? So that's the only reason why I got a 3-star. But I really did enjoy the book, and I really like the plot, and I like the character too. So yeah, Binti got a 3-star. Alright, the next book, I do not have a physical copy, and it is a manga. It's called LDK Volume 2 by Ayu Watanabe. Now, I read Volume 1 last year, and it was alright, but I wanted to give Volume 2 a chance to see if I was going to continue on with the series. Alright, so LDK follows Aoi and Shusei. They're both high school students living in their own apartments, and something happens to Shusei's apartment that he is forced to live with Aoi until the apartment is fixed. This book, the series is just not for me. Even though I absolutely love romance, I don't really care for it, and I'm not going to continue reading it because I'm not enjoying it. By the second volume, if I don't like it, I won't continue it. So 3 stars. 3 stars for LDK. Alright, so the next book, I do have a physical copy, and it is The Bells by Danielle Clayton. Now this follows a world where people are gray and their eyes are red, and they are just, it looks like the color has been sucked out of them because of the story behind this world, or the theory behind this world. And then there are the Bells. They are sisters, and the goddess gave them the power to create beauty. So out of all of them, they're the only ones who have the natural color and natural beauty. So their power is that they can turn anybody beautiful, and they can sculpt their faces. They can change everything about a person. They can actually even change their personality traits and everything. Just the magic system, it is absolutely incredible. And the process that you read through them, it's fascinating. This book is absolutely fascinating. But my main issue with this book was the actual main character. I did not like Camellia whatsoever. It's just, she was so immature, and there's just some things that, even if they were to put a billboard sign of this is messed up or this is wrong, it flies through her head, and it just happens throughout the whole entire book. And it was just, at one point it was annoying. But I will say that, what is it? I want to say where, because I'm being very specific. Oh, well, I'm going to try to be very specific here. Okay, I found it. From this point on, well, this much right here, this was the 5-star read for me. After like chapter 38 and everything else, this book was absolutely incredible from the politics, but the rest of the book, like the beginning of the book towards like the middle of the book, there was some cool stuff going on, but I was just so aggravated by Camellia that I was over it. But yeah, I remember when this book was super hyped, and I was ready to pick it up, and I was so excited, but then it kind of disappointed me. Not the ending. The ending was great, but again, you can't judge a whole entire book by the ending. It doesn't work that way. So 3 stars. Okay, so the next book, I do not have a physical copy, so I'll post a picture up here. But I do have the first book, and I'll show the first book, and I was so disappointed, y'all. I was so disappointed. But it still got a 3 star, so not too bad. It is Arch Enemies by Marissa Mayer. Y'all, this book, Renegades, I gave it a 5 star. I was hooked. I was obsessed. I was like, I need to pick up Arch Enemies because this is ridiculous. I need to know what happens. And then I picked it up, and okay, so obviously I cannot tell you the plot of Arch Enemies, but this follows Nova, who is part of the Anarchists, and then it follows Adrian and the whole entire Renegades group. So Nova, she hates the Renegades, which it is every single chapter they gave the exact same explanation why she hates the Renegades. It was repetitive, but whatever. She hates the Renegades because her parents and her little sister dies, and none of the Renegades came to save her. So she just holds that against them, and she hates them, and she wants to destroy them. So Nova infiltrates the Renegades and becomes one of them. The whole plot of Arch Enemies is for her to just infiltrate the Renegades to find something that can completely like destroy them, which she does in the second book, but that's not the problem. First of all, like the first 200 pages is like a recap of like book number 1, and these books, they're pretty thick. Like this one almost, it's like 500 and something pages, and I believe the second one is around 500 and something pages. So like the first 200 pages about Arch Enemies, it's this book and recapping everything, and then it just goes into this super weird like buildup of the romance between like Nova and Adrian. And it's just, this book, it drags on. Nova was so annoying, and she just kept denying Adrian's feelings throughout the whole entire book until like the very last couple of chapters when the explosive stuff starts happening. This book is so boring. It was boring. And obviously this is not a spoiler, but you would think that the second book they would find out that Adrian, the Sentinel, and Nova, Nightmare, that they would finally know each other's identities. And no, they still don't find out. I was so disappointed with this book because I wanted more from the book and less of the first book. Like, I already read the first book. You'd have to keep repeating the same thing that happens in the first book. So book 2 was a disappointment. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, and I'm super sad about it because I loved this book so much. Alright, and moving on to my only 4-star of this month, which was like a 4.75. But I do not have a physical copy of this book. It's super weird because I have the first book and the third book. But it is Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book that I'm holding up in place of Clockwork Prince, and this one's Clockwork Angel. So this follows Tessa, Will, Jem, and the whole entire institute. I can't give you the plot of the second book because you have to read the first book. But Tessa's a shapeshifter. She can shift into animals. She can shift into humans. And she can actually go into people's minds when she shifts. And she could tell, like, the memories. But the thing is that she's not a shadow hunter, and she's not a warlock because she doesn't have the mark, or she doesn't have a brand, so they don't know what she is. And the second book follows mostly Will, Tessa, and Jem. And the second one is more of a character driven story. So my problem was that the reason why it got 4.75 is because I felt like in the book, even though you got some really cool discoveries and you found more things out, it just did not move the plot further along. So that's the only reason why this book did not get 5 stars. But Will and Jem are my babies, and I love the characters so much, and that's the reason why it got such a high rating, because then you really got to know about every single character in the story, every single character in the institute. We get new characters, new point of views, and it's just the series is so good. And yeah, so a 4.75 out of 5 stars. Alright, so we are moving into our 5-star reads, and the next 2 books I do not have a physical copy because I already turned them into the library, but then I have I just picked up 2 other books in the series, and it is Yana of the Dawn by Mitsuho Kusanagi. Oh my god, you guys, this series, I have 5 and 7 right now because I just picked them up, but these 2 books, well, this series, it's so good. It follows Yona, Princess Yona, and it follows Hawk and Lord Suan. Princess Yona is in love with Lord Suan, and it is her 16th birthday, so everybody comes to the castle to come and celebrate, and it turns out that Lord Suan, traitorous monster, kills Princess Yona's father. And that just kicks off the whole entire series, because Hawk now has to take the princess and flee from the kingdom. And you'll see in every single volume what happens next. But the real plot of the story doesn't actually get revealed until volume 3, which I'll go over next month. But I've actually been, I picked up volume 1, 2, and 3, and on Hulu they have the anime too, so I would read one book and then I would watch the anime, and I absolutely love doing that. The anime is incredible. It is very accurate to the book with more details, and it's a fantastic series. Volume 1 and 2 both got 5 stars, and spoiler, volume 3 got 5 stars as well. Next book, I do not have a physical copy, so I'll put it up there, and it is When the Forest Meets the Stars by Glenda Vandera. This book, y'all. Just thinking about it, it makes my heart wrench a little bit. But this book follows three characters. It is Joe, Gabriel, and Ursa. Now, Joe is a scientist. She's trying to finish her degree, so she rents out this cabin, and she studies birds. So she's there for the whole entire summer. And yeah, she's just trying to do her research. She's gone through a lot because she lost her mother to cancer, and she has recently pretty much beat breast cancer herself. So she's just trying to continue her studies without nobody just pretty much feeling bad for her or just surrounding her and just being annoying. Now, one night she's just outside, she's cooking for herself, and this little girl pops up. Her name is Ursa, and she claims that she is an alien sent down from space to see 5 miracles. And the little girl will not leave, and she will not tell Joe where her parents are, where she lives, or where she actually comes from. The little girl is super smart. So the next day, she decides to talk to her neighbor, and his name is Gabriel. Now, Gabriel, he has arachnophobia, I believe it's what it's called, and he deals with anxiety, he deals with depression. So he's pretty much a loner. He sells eggs on the side of the street, and that's all pretty much he does, because he has some stuff going on. So she goes to the neighbor's house to see if anybody knows who Ursa is, or whose neighbor's kid is this. And it turns out that he doesn't know Ursa at all. So it just takes those three on an adventure, but it's more about like a slice of life and them trying to figure out what they're going to do with this little girl and why she hasn't popped up in the missing kids. It's almost magical in the sense of the way that Ursa is. Now, this book does have trigger warnings, but I can't really say them, because if I say them, then it's going to spoil the whole entire book. But just tread cautiously through this book, but they're more towards the end of the book, so you should be fine reading, but just know that towards the end, just brace yourself a little bit. But oh my god, this book, I keep saying this book, but it was incredible. There's just so many lessons in this book about learning how to love again, how to face your fears, how to confront your past, how to trust, making friends. Just so many lessons in this book, and it is absolutely incredible. I don't know if I did justice explaining it, but please read it and bring your tissues, because I cried like a baby. Now, the next book that we're going to talk about, I do not have a physical copy yet. It is The Wicked King by Holly Black. Y'all, I don't even think I have to give a description, because I'm super late towards this series, because The Cruel Prince came out last year, and this one came out in January, and I told myself that I was not going to read The Wicked King, because everybody was like, oh my god, the ending, what is going on, I can't wait till next year. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to read it a little bit later on this year, so that I don't have to wait that long. But y'all, the hype got to me and I picked it up, and this book was almost like destroyed my soul. Oh my god. So this follows Jude and Carden from the events of The Cruel Prince. I can't really say much without spoiling, but this book actually does introduce one of my favorite mythological characters of all times, which is mermaids. I freaking love mermaids. So this introduces them, because yeah, I don't want to say anything about this book, because after you read like The Cruel Prince, I just want you guys to just jump into, I said that weird, I just want you guys to just jump into The Wicked King. And this book was phenomenal. These characters were great. The building, the world building was incredible. The politics of this book was insane. And the ending, it almost killed me, y'all. So 5 stars for The Wicked Kid. Alright, the next book that I gave a 5 stars and that I absolutely love was The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. I don't have a physical copy, so I'll put it up here. This book follows Duke, or the Duke of Ashbury, and it follows Emma. Now the Duke is a war hero, and half of his body is all scarred. It is burned. He is hideous, and nobody wants to be around him because of all that scar. So he has turned into this lonely, brooding, evil, just nasty guy, and he just hates everyone, and his servants are fed up with him. So he's writing a letter in his studies when the servant gets him because somebody knocked on the door, and it is Emma. And Emma is standing in the doorway with this ridiculous, poofy wedding gown, which is it just has pearls and it has sequins. It's a monstrosity of a wedding dress. And turns out that the Duke was supposed to be married, and his ex-wife told Emma, which she's a seamstress, to make the dress. Now Emma went to the Duke because she made this dress, and it took forever because this dress has so much going on by the request of the Duke's ex-wife, and she wants him to pay for it because she is late on the rent, and if not she's gonna get thrown out in the streets, so she needs the money. And the Duke comes up with this crazy idea of asking her for her hand in marriage. So this book pretty much takes you with these two characters, and it follows what happens after that. I never thought that I would love historical romance as much as I loved this book. Oh my god, it was such a blast. The character development between these two characters from like start to finish was incredible. And even though it's historical romance, a little smut scenes, they were great. They're really good. So I was just overall impressed with this book. And even though it is a mass paperback, which I do not like mass paperback books, I don't mind just regular paperback books. Floppy paperbacks are my favorite, but these are the short, thick ones. I literally want to get a copy of it because I love Tessa Dare's writing so much that I'm ready to collect her books all in one. So if you love romance and you've never tried historical romance, or you're not much of a historical romance, this book is a great introduction to it, y'all. 5 out of 5 stars. It was great. Alright, and the last book that I gave 5 out of 5 stars, y'all, I picked up Clockwork Princess. Oh my god. Y'all, I can't even explain how many times I ended up crying through this book. I'm so mad at myself that I did not pick up the series sooner. This is, I can finally say that for me, this series, The Infernal Devices, is 100 times better than The Mortal Instruments. Now, if you like The Mortal Instruments better, that's okay. We all have our different opinions. But for me, this series trilogy was incredible. Now this finishes up the series. Again, I already talked about Clockwork Angel, and it just follows Tessa, Will, and Jem, and everybody else in the institute, and their way of trying to stop the clockwork creatures and Mortmain. And I just love this book so much. Like, Will and Jem, they're parabatai, and they're my favorite characters. And the entire, what is it, 6? And the entire, 9 books up until now that Cassandra Clare has written, because she also has Lady Midnight, and then she has a bunch of other series now, and there are new ones coming out more. But like, Will and Jem will always be my favorite pair of parabatai. I love those two so much. And let me tell you, like, everybody pretty much knows that there is a love triangle throughout this whole entire series. And I'm iffy about love triangles, but I have never felt so split in my entire life. Like, love triangles, I know exactly who I'm going for. I know exactly who I'm rooting for. Just the series, I was Tessa. I really was Tessa. I didn't know whether to root for Jem or I didn't know whether to root for Will. And I was just rooting for both of them. Just Cassandra Clare just knows how to write inside her world, and she knows how to write characters. And Will and Jem will always be my babies. Because this one is I can dare say, like, this is a historical fantasy because it was set in the 1870 something. It's just, oh my god, those two characters stole my heart, and this ripped my soul apart. This book was 5 out of 5 stars. Alright, y'all, so that is the end of April wrap up. I think I did pretty good. I found a lot of new favorites. It's just, it was a great reading month, y'all, and I am super excited to see what next month brings. May, because I have a couple of more videos planned. Too specific, there's a vlog that's about to come up, and out of that vlog I went to the library and tore it up. So probably the next video that you're going to see, it's either the vlog or the library haul. And yeah, I'm super excited just to be part of the booktube and just to bring out like more content. I love it. Even though, like, it doesn't even matter that I have a couple of subscribers, I still literally enjoy sitting down in front of this camera and just talking about books and showing you guys my books. So yeah, if you did like this video, like, comment down, and subscribe to my channel because there's gonna be a lot more videos coming out. And if you have other video ideas, please let me know. I'm here to talk to you guys. I'm here to make friends. Make sure that you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I just recently created a Twitter and I've been more involved in it. So I never used to like Twitter, but now I really I really like it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.